Hi, Joanna. Let's take a look at what you did in this latest set of essays. Travel is the topic, so here's what you wrote. Nowadays, more and more individuals are traveling in his/her hometown or to other countries. There are several advantages, but also a few drawbacks. In this essay, I will discuss both its pros and cons. Okay, fine. This doesn't really make sense to me in his or her hometown. I know it says domestically or internationally, but when you travel, it's rarely to your hometown. It's just like within your country. So that would have made more sense to me. More and more individuals are traveling within their own country or to other countries. That would have been a better option. All right, let's take a look at your body paragraphs now. Firstly, traveling allows us to learn about other cultures and gain new experiences. When we visit a new place, we have the opportunity to interact with people from different cultures and learn about their customs and traditions. Okay, yes. Secondly, it allows us not only to take a break from our everyday lives, but also to explore new and exciting places. It is certainly an amazing way to relax and unwind. Lastly, traveling provides us with the opportunity to spend quality time with others, either friends or family or friends, and create new memories. It is really a wonderful way to bond with family and friends. Okay, so this is very nice. Grammar is good. Vocabulary is, it's fine. It does what it's supposed to do, but it reads kind of like a list. Okay, let me show you what I mean. Um, so we learn about new cultures. Okay, so then here, what did you tell us? We have the opportunity to interact with people. So you're really just saying the same thing, but with different words. Okay, we learn about new cultures, new experiences. So we interact and learn about their customs. It's you're saying the same thing, but with different words. Then here, you didn't support it. Okay, you take a break and you explore new places. Okay, well, yeah, but you didn't support it. Then you tell us it is a great way to relax. Again, not supported. And then you tell us it spends time with others. It's a way to spend time with others. And then you tell us it's a great way to spend time with others. So um, you may have thought or you may have believed that you were supporting your arguments, but you weren't. You had too many ideas, but they weren't supported. So let's talk about what we mean by support. So, traveling allows us to learn about other cultures and gain new experiences. Okay. We are able to walk through their streets, taste their cuisine, and perhaps interact with other people to get a better understanding of their daily lives and their mentality. Okay, so that is being more specific. That is getting into some detail. Okay. Here, honestly, this one, I might have gotten rid of it because, as I said, you didn't really need more than two ideas. I would have kept the first one. I would have gotten rid of this one. Um, what I might have done is I might have combined these two together, but again, supporting them. Okay. So it could have been something like this. Travel is certainly a wonderful way to relax and unwind while spending time with family and or friends. When we travel, we share these experiences with our loved ones, and this deepens our bonds as we have a shared experience, shared memories that you know, bring us closer together and that we can reminisce about in years to come. Okay, so something like that, just going a step further to explain why what you're saying is true. Okay, so it's not enough to just say the idea, but you have to tell us why what you're saying is right. Okay, you have to make that absolutely clear. You never want to assume that your reader understands your reasoning. You have to really spell it out for the reader. All right, let's keep going. However, there are also some disadvantages of traveling. One of the main disadvantages is the cost. Traveling can be quite expensive, especially to a foreign country, and the cost of transportation, accommodation, and food can add up. Now, this is good. This, you were specific and you explained it. And so this is a better This is a better example of support. Another disadvantage is that it can be quite stressful. For an international trip, we often have to deal with different time zones, currency changes, exchange, language barriers, unexpected delays, as well as unforeseeable problems such as losing a wallet or passport. Okay. Finally, traveling can be dangerous as you may be exposed to different risks such as crime or accidents, getting lost in unfamiliar new places. Okay. That's all right. I think you could have possibly left it out. Maybe just talked a little bit more about the other two. Again, I'm not really a huge fan of 3 different ideas in a paragraph. I say 1 or 2, but just really fully develop it. Get into that detail, support it, and explain it fully so that there's really no question about what you're talking about. Okay? All right, so overall, I believe that the benefits of traveling outweigh the drawbacks. Traveling can be a great way to learn about new cultures, relax, and bond with family and friends. However, it is important to be aware of potential risks and challenges involved in any trip. With careful and thorough planning and preparation, the risks can be minimized. All right, that's lovely. I liked your conclusion. That was good. Okay, so it's a good essay, but it does need some tweaking. It does need some fixes to make it really worthy of one of those top band scores. Okay. All right. So where's your task 1? There it is. Young adults movies. Great. The bar chart illustrates the preferences of young people. Preferences 2. Okay. I wouldn't have said 2. I probably said 4. The preference of young people for something. Kind of instinctively, that just feels a little better to me, okay? So the bar chart illustrates preferences of young people, singular. About in. I don't know about this. This is really confusing me. You know why? Because most people don't structure this sentence like this. So it feels a little kind of unfamiliar, to tell you the honest truth. Yeah, even when I say it to myself, I think it should be the preference of somebody for something. Perhaps. Okay. Why don't we try that? The bar chart illustrates preferences of young people for 5 movie categories across the world by gender. It is obviously shown that the majority of young people, no S here, regardless of their gender, love to watch comedy films, and the least popular movie category for male and female are romantic and animation, respectively. Okay, fine. Let's keep going. According to the statistics, there was a significant difference in number of male and female minors who were interested in action and romantic films, with 137 males choosing action films, whilst 82 females did. All right, they're not minors. Careful with this vocabulary. A minor is a person under 18. They have told us that these people are young adults. And so, since they're adults, we can assume that they're over the age of 18. Okay. So, in contrast, 116 females enjoyed romantic films, but only 31 males did. Okay. For the types of animation, horror, and comedy films, the figures for male preferences are slightly higher than those for females, with a deviation of less than 10. When it comes to drama, there were larger differences by genders, with 86 females and 63 males selecting it. Okay, we're going to talk in quite a bit of detail about this paragraph. Let me look at your conclusion. In conclusion, comedy was the most popular type of movie among young adults. It is also discovered that males preferred action films while females enjoyed romantic films considerably more than the opposite sex. Careful. Do you know what that sounds like? It sounds like that women like romantic movies more than they like men. I don't think that's what you mean. Okay, so what you wanted to say was females enjoyed romantic movies considerably more than men did. okay? And then you're comparing romantic films to romantic films, not whether women like men or movies more, okay? So, it's a common mistake though. Honestly, even native speakers make that mistake. Okay. Now, I told you that I wanted to talk quite a bit about this paragraph. I have to be honest with Joanna and tell you I didn't love the way you organized this. It felt to me kind of counterintuitive. And so I felt like while reading this, I really needed to look at the bar chart to make sense of what was happening. I wasn't able to do it here. Also, it concerned me that you never really talked about like comedy in terms of number. Yeah, you mentioned it here, you mentioned in your overview and in your conclusion, but you never actually gave any data about it. And that's not a great idea. Just because you mention something in your overview, it does not mean you're done with it. You still have to give some data about it. So there are a lot of different ways to do this, and there are some ways that I've seen that I guess uh, kind of sound or work better than others. Let me give you a couple of ideas of what you could have done. So one way to do this is to split the paragraphs men versus women. What did men watch in one paragraph, and then what did women watch? And then when you get to the women, you would then want to compare their figures to the previously mentioned male figures. That's a pretty simple way of doing it. Another way of doing it, though, that I really like is focusing on the outliers. So for me, I would probably talk about comedy, I would probably talk about action, and I would probably talk about romantic. And then in a separate paragraph, I would put animation, drama, and horror. Okay, that's probably how I would organize this. So what would that sound like? That would probably sound something like for both genders, comedy was the most popular movie type with 145 men and 137 women preferring it. For men, the second most popular genre was action with 137 uh, people preferring it, in contrast to the female population, where with only 82 women preferring this type of movie. A similar difference, if that makes sense, a similar difference, anyway, could be seen in the romantic genre. This was the second most preferred genre of movies for women with 116, while only approximately a third of this figure of men liked this movie. Okay, so that's kind of how I would do that paragraph. And then the next paragraph would be relatively easy because the differences in the figures are really minimal. So I would just kind of lump them together. All right. So, like I said, I've just given you two different ways to do it, but I think that it's a way that's logical. So when you look at these graphs, you kind of have to say to yourself, all right, I've got all these figures. What is the best, most strategic way to organize it? Okay. So that's kind of how I want you to think about this. And remember, you want to describe it in such a way that the person reading it can more or less visualize it without actually looking at it. Okay? So that's where we are today. Go ahead and correct these. And thanks for sending these in. And I'll wait for your next set. Good luck.